Uh,
Like I said, purely science.
purely science, the science of my brain. All right, I'm waiting for the meeting to set up in YouTube. There we go. Let me dump the link. This is the last show of the semester, guys. I know sadness has come upon us, but unfortunately, I will be in Florida for 2 weeks during winter break. So that's going to be kind of my rest and relaxation time.
What part are you going to?
We're just going outside of Key West. So
I don't know how far that is from where I'll be, but I'm going to be in Bradenton. To see my friend.
yeah, I know where that is. I'm trying to think. It's probably like an hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn. New holiday thing. Less presents, more vacation. So
That's what we said too.
I'd like to have that. That'd be nice.
I'm
I'll
excited.
be sitting at home in Indy while you guys are in Florida.
Hey, don't worry. The temps are supposed to drop like right when we leave anyway, so it'll be
Oh, yeah.
we'll all be wearing jackets.
Yeah.
all right, we're ready to go. Let's do this. Everyone else ready here?
Yeah.
Matthew
Never found my
Cassidy
TV
will be
remote.
joining us at an undisclosed time. We don't know exactly yet. But welcome back. This is SMC Show episode 13, the last episode of the semester. So we're going to kind of wrap up, go through some things. We, of course, had our first quarterfinals game of the group stage today. Croatia did beat Brazil. So we're going to go through that, talk about a little bit of the World Cup, and then we're going to recap our playoff picture, since by the time we get back, the playoffs will be close to being set. And I just felt like our takes were terrible. So we need some time to redeem ourselves. So we're going to go through, we're going to kind of redo it. And then we're going to get on to some college basketball. There was a lot that ensued this week. I said madness ensues in December because it felt like everybody lost. Some crazy games. And we got our college football playoff is set. So we're going to go back, look at our rankings. It was just me, Austin, and Dallas. But then we're going to go in, set our national championships. And then we're going to get on to some hot takes. So you guys are ready to go. First, we're going to recap the game from today. Croatia did beat Brazil, I believe 3-2 in penalties. So the game, Brazil did score in the first half of extra time, and then Croatia tied it up, and then they went to penalties, and unfortunately a Brazil miss knocked them out. We do have a game actually that just kicked off 6 minutes ago, so we're going to make some live predictions. Dallas, who do you have in Argentina versus the Netherlands?
Oh gosh. I don't know much about soccer, but give me the Netherlands.
Oh boy, everybody. Rishi, we know you've already taken your live hot take, which I feel like you need to air out now early in the show.
For all of our live viewers in Russia, I want everyone to know by the end of the first half today, Netherlands will be up by multiple goals. That's my hot take. And then I guess if I'm saying that, I better take Netherlands in full time.
All righty. Well, we're getting ready to see it. We're getting ready to see it. So just be prepared, guys. Rishi is from the future. He's going to tell you what happens. I do have the Netherlands winning in this game. I believe Rishi's on the same train. Matthew also put in his take. He's also on the same train. Personally, for me, I think Argentina is good. I just feel like the Netherlands have a lot going for them right now. And they're just a really solid team. So, we're going to hope we're right. I just do want to regroup the round of 16 though. We were correct on Matthew picked the Netherlands to beat the USA. Unfortunately, we all had England winning, Argentina winning, France winning. I had Croatia winning. None of us had Morocco advancing. Adams did have them going to penalties, but the Spanish winning. We did not pick Portugal, but I did pick Brazil to win. And then I was the only person to pick correctly on the Croatia game. I picked Croatia. Matthew picked Brazil for the quarterfinals. That did bust a few of our World Cup finals, though. I believe 3 people's finals. There's only one person, Noah Stranahan's the only person who has a finals with 2 teams that are still in the tournament left, in England and France. So
tough showing for the
tough
final
showing.
6.
It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna make some new ones today. We'll be okay once we get that. But then now we're on to Morocco versus Portugal. Morocco is the only African team left in the tournament. They've been kind of a interesting story, you know. Scraped through the group, got some good wins, got a really good win against Spain in penalties. I mean, I'm interested to hear where we're at. Rishi, where are you feeling in this game? Where's the temperature in the water?
This game that's live right now?
No, Morocco versus Portugal.
Oh, well, so obviously I think if we don't see any upsets or I don't know. I would be more inclined to pick Morocco if everything had been chalk so far, but I won't pick against Portugal in this game. I'll take Portugal.
Dallas, you feeling the Morocco wave yet?
I am. I'll go with the upset here. Why not?
Oh, Dallas. I do have the Moroccans keeping it close, but I do have the Portuguese winning on penalties. I think that there's a lot that's going to go on in this game. I think the Portuguese might be a little surprised by the Moroccans, but I think Portugal will handle it very well on penalties, just with the depth of players they have in penalties and the goalie choice they have. I think the Moroccans are good. I'm not ready to commit to it yet. And then possibly for the biggest matchup next to Netherlands, Argentina in the heavyweight wise, we have England versus France. I am taking France. I think the French have been nothing short of amazing. The English have a really good chance to keep this game tight, but I think Mbappe is absolutely going to dust that defense and prove why he does deserve Golden Boot in this tournament. So I'm going with France. Rishi, Dallas, who you got here?
I'll go with France as well.
I've been saying England this whole time, so I'm taking England.
Oh, so it is split. Matthew also took England. Unfortunately, we don't know why he took England, but he's got a hunch that he's feeling good on England. But now I think we need to set our finals. Let's do our edited finals. Where are we feeling? I don't know. Who wants to go first, Rishi or Dallas? Who's feeling confident?
I mean, so do you guys need a refresher on who's on which side of the bracket?
Yes,
I've got it up right now.
Who's on whose side?
So we got to pick one out of these 4, or I guess 3, Netherlands, Argentina, or Croatia. And then we have to pick one from England, France, and then Morocco, Portugal. Personally, I'm going to hedge my Netherlands take today since everyone's on the Netherlands, and I'm going to go with an Argentina-England final. While being nervous about France.
I think we get a repeat of 2018. I think we get France, Croatia. I actually have Croatia winning, though. I think the Croatians are playing with a lot of passion. And, I think it's always tough when teams are willing to do what they did today, which is sit in, take a beating from a world-class team, just hold in, play tough. They gave up a goal in the first half of extra time and then scored one in the second half and then went to penalties, and they've been brilliant from penalties. Their goalies been amazing so far. I think they're just a tough team to beat. So I do have them winning the World Cup, and that is going to be one of the legs of my hot take per usual. Because, we don't play one hot take. We play like 5 parlayed on each other.
And that's how you end up with an 0-13 record like me.
You're not 0-13. You're
only 0-11,
I think you're like 0-10. I think that's what it is. It's okay. It's okay. You still got to come back. You'll have the first seed in the draft next year. You'll have that top prospect to take. Dallas, who we got here in the finals?
All right. I'm in the same boat as Rishi. I know we all picked Netherlands, but I'm going Argentina versus France with Argentina getting the W.
So this is also interesting because last time these two faced, Argentina was knocked out by France in the World Cup to make it to the next round. So you guys got some interesting things. Rishi, who do you have winning the World Cup here in this Argentina-England game?
Man, I'm gonna stick with England because I've been going with. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna scrap everything I've said before. It's gonna be a storybook ending. I'm gonna take Argentina over France in the final.
You changing to go Argentina France?
Yeah, I'm clearly not too tied to my opinions on this, so I'm swapping everything and going Argentina over France.
We're just flying on the spot. Now I have to ask the question: do we think Morocco, if all else fails, it could be a Morocco-Croatia finals? Could the craziness?
I was tempted to pick Morocco versus the Netherlands in the final, with Morocco winning, but I just decided against it at the last second.
I mean, but realistically, it is, as everyone says, win or go home. You know, crazier things have happened. But
have we had a crazier winner in the World Cup before? I don't know if crazier things have happened.
We've had some pretty interesting World Cups before. I don't think there's maybe been an African nation, but it was probably like in 19 flippity dip when nobody was like born, or I mean even there. So I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be crazy, but I don't know. I'm feeling the Croatian energy. I'm feeling it. I got it in my bones right now. I was half tempted to buy a jersey today and just say I'm from Croatia and, just act like the U.S. didn't lose. But,
imagine it doesn't even get delivered until after they lose.
I'd still wear it proudly. Luka Modric does deserve, I think, golden ball of the tournament. Just been amazing. But now we are on to the thing that I felt was most important, was fixing what in the world we picked for the playoffs. We got a lot to go over. There's two divisions where I think we may have picked correctly. But we're going to get started. The AFC North, we had the Bengals winning. I'm going to go through who picked this. Matthew also added his pick in. So we had Dallas, Austin, me, Rishi, Adam, and Matthew all taking the Bengals to win the NFC North. Are we still feeling confident in the Bengals winning the NFC North? Thumbs up. I like that.
Lamar's hurt. That's all you need to say.
You know where I'm at.
Yeah, so we feel confident. We think that one is right. So I'm going to change that highlighted color on there to a new one, saying that that's our updated pick. The Chargers winning the AFC West was the next pick we had. It was me, Rishi, Austin, and Dallas. What to say about the Chargers? Does anyone win this division realistically in our minds, other than the Chiefs?
No.
No, wow. Yeah, no. After watching Derek Carr and the Raiders get absolutely sauced by Baker Mayfield on his third team in like 9 months, I feel like we all have to agree with Matt that we're in on the Chiefs winning.
I feel like if I remember correctly in the original prediction show, I feel like the general consensus was, what's the fun in picking the Chiefs? And yeah, it's not very fun when they're 9-3. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were all feeling the Chargers. Maybe it just wasn't. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's next year. Then on to the AFC East, which has been probably one of the tougher divisions to see out in the AFC. We had the Bills right now, and it was me, Dallas, Austin. Everybody picked, so Adam, Matt, and Rishi. Are we still feeling confident in the Bills, or do we feel like Miami's a good pick? I mean, I just feel like this division's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah, it really depends on the final schedule for me. I'm not sure what each team's looking like on the final schedule, because I am very tempted to go with the Dolphins.
I'm pulling up their schedule right now. They have left to play Dolphins play the Chargers, the Bills, the Packers, the Patriots, and the Jets. The last 5 games.
Are we saying it's going to come down to those 2 teams? Because I'm fine saying that.
I think it's going to come down to those 2 teams. The only thing is the Dolphins do have the first head-to-head matchup on the Bills. So, not going to lie, I kind of want to go Dolphins. I'm really – their defense is still kind of touch and go for me. I think they do surrender a lot of points, but I think, the Chargers is an easily winnable game. The Packers is a winnable game. The Patriots is probably a winnable game. I feel like the Jets and the Bills will honestly decide their fate. So, I'm willing to put it down and say we can go 50-50 on it if we feel the Dolphins could also.
I think the Bills are 1 game up right now. I think
They are
lean towards the Bills only because I think they for sure win 3 out of their last 5. That's going to put Miami in a real tough spot to win 4 of their last 5 and ties.
Then we can put them in the wild card. Then.
Yeah, I got the Bills win division.
Yeah, the AFC South. I don't know what to say about this division. Both Souths are just we're not going to talk about them. We had the Colts winning. It was me, Austin, Adam, Rishi, and Dallas. We all felt that the Colts were going to be the superior team in the division. Matthew did pick the Titans. I kind of agree with him. I think the Titans are actually a very interesting team to look at. I think they do dominate a lot of time of possession, and they have really good defense. I'm not saying I don't think they're going to be the world beaters in the playoffs and beat everybody, but hey, I wouldn't count them out. So I'm going to go Titans too. Are you guys feeling the same way on this?
Yeah, no one's going to catch them. They've got a few game lead, and but I do think a lot of people talk about how this year in the NFL it feels like we've had like 2 or 3 really good teams, but I think come playoff time we're going to have some close matchups. I think the Titans will put up a fight.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought about saying the other day. I almost dropped after they played the Kansas City Chiefs and took them to overtime and lost. That week, I thought about saying I think Titans AFC Championship might not be completely out of the woodwork yet, but now we're on to the wild card. So we replaced 2 teams in our wild card. I'll just go through the wild card. We had 1 through 3, Chiefs, Ravens, and Raiders. We were all in on the Chiefs, all in on the Ravens, and all in on the Raiders. Of course, the Chiefs spot has to be replaced. So are we feeling the Dolphins for this spot?
Yes.
Okay. Rishi, you in on the Dolphins for AFC playoff or AFC wildcard 1?
Yeah, my heart kind of wanted to pick them for the division, but I'll say top wildcard.
That would leave a pretty interesting matchup, though. Whoever's the 1 seed and whoever's – well, no, they wouldn't play the 1 seed. They'd play the 4 seed. That would be an interesting game. I would like to see like a Titans-Dolphins game. I think that game could be very interesting. On to the Ravens, who was our second wild card pick. With Lamar's injury, what's the temperature in the water here?
I've got him still in the playoffs, and I think I don't know how long Lamar's out, but I'd imagine if he's coming back before the playoffs, then
1 to 3 weeks is the prognosis.
Then yeah, even if they sneak in as the 7th seed, I'd still potentially pick them in that first round.
So here's my question: do we want to put them at the 3 seed or the 2 seed? Because we're here at the 2 seed. Do we feel confident on another team for the 2 seed?
I wouldn't say confidence, so I'd still put the Ravens at the 2 seed in the wild card. Because I think Lamar's out 1 to 3. I think Huntley will get him at least 1 win if he has multiple starts. He is a proven backup in the league. Can play very well in the Ravens system. Even though I hate them, but
ripped apart the Packers last year.
But yeah, I still got the Ravens getting the 6th seed in the second wild card.
All righty. Well, the third seed. This is where it feels a little interesting. Who was on Jets? I think it was Adam on Jets Island 2 weeks ago or last week. So are we on the Jets Island here? Are we feeling that there's another team that maybe is sneaking around in the shadows waiting to emerge?
My opinions actually are more based in who these teams are playing over the last 5 games. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the most confident in the Chargers just in terms of who they're putting on the field, but I do think they have an easier schedule, so I'll take them to be the 7th seed. Although, love me some Sauce Gardner.
I do need to look at the Chargers schedule. I don't know. I could see them losing at the Dolphins. I could see them losing at the Titans. I could see them somehow losing at the Colts. I feel like that's just going to be a weird one-off game. And then they'll probably beat the Rams and the Broncos. That would put them, for me, at 8-8. I mean, no, that'd put them at 8-9. I got to look at the Jets' schedule here.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah, you know who I had on the island, and that was the Chargers last week. I was on the Chargers island last week. So I'll just go narrow down. We're on the last spot. There's probably 4 teams that you could say that have a slot at this in the AFC. And here, let me go over the standings real quick. There's a dark horse team that somehow, it goes over 500 every year. They're in last place in their division right now. The schedule is lining up very well for them to actually crank off some wins, especially with this week Lamar being out. And I know it's a very long shot for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make a playoff run. But they do have the Ravens this week with Lamar out, very winnable game. And then you have the Panthers and the Raiders, 2 other winnable games. And then you have the Ravens and the Browns, which division games always close with the AFC North. So they could rip off a 5-game win streak at the end. Like I said, very unlikely, and be 10-7, but they are a dark horse. But I will stick with my island pick and the Chargers getting that final wild card spot.
Yeah, I'm with the Chargers now. The Jets play the Bills, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Seahawks, and the Dolphins. I could see them losing all 5 of those games. In true Jets fashion.
That's why
in true Jets fashion, I could see them losing to Jared Goff and then getting caught up in Jacksonville, because Jacksonville is always a tough place to play. Or no, Jacksonville is just a tough team to play. Seahawks have been really good, and the Dolphins. I mean, yeah, I could go for that. I could go for that. I'm gonna go Chargers. Nobody had the Patriots here. Sneaky Patriots playoff.
I'd rather put my confidence in the Jets than the Patriots this year.
All right. I feel that. It is Bill Belichick, though. There's 2 things that are inevitable: Mike Tomlin going 500 and Bill Belichick making a playoff game. But now we're on to the NFC, where I feel like we probably, Rishi, it is you and I have a time to gloat here. We picked the right pick for the NFC North. The rest of these clowns, sorry, clowns, you're getting clowned today for this, picked the Packers. Me and Rishi were feeling the Vikings, and everybody said no. Everyone thought the Vikings were not going to be that good. It's Kirk Cousins. So Dallas, Adam, and Austin, suck it. But I feel like the obvious pick is now the Vikings. So me and Rishi will just say we've been right since the jump. I mean, I don't think Dallas is going to disagree here that the Vikings aren't deserving of what they've done this season. Right, Dallas?
They clinched division this week. With the W, they clinched division this week.
So, I mean, me and Rishi were just being, we were being visionaries. We were seeing things. And we were definitely right on that one. And, the Packers probably won't even make the playoffs. But, hey, and then on the NFC West, officially we are all bozos for this pick. We had the Rams winning the NFC West. It's not out of the cards, with the fact that Brock Purdy is now the quarterback of the 49ers. Geno Smith and the Seahawks have taken a little step back. I mean, that division's not completely hopeless. But it would definitely still take a lot of things to go in the right way. I mean, maybe you guys think Mayfield could do that, but they are currently still below the Arizona Cardinals in the division. So 49ers or Seahawks here, because that's where my heart goes.
Do you want me to read off the two schedules?
Yes.
All right. Just tell me win or loss and we'll add them up. 49ers, Bucks. Win for the Niners or loss?
I think they win.
Okay, so they're 1-0. Then they play the Seahawks.
Division game. Where's it at?
It's in. Is Lumen Field? Oh no,
yes,
it's in Seattle.
Lumen.
It's in Seattle.
So, that's an L. I think that's an L.
Commanders.
Oh God, they're so tough to pick against right now. I hate it when anybody says pick a Commanders game. I think they win probably like a pick six to win the game.
And then Raiders Cardinals to close out the year, and they're currently 2-1 in their last 5 according to you.
Dub and dub. I think the Raiders are going to give them a little bit of a problem, but I don't think that Derek Carr is going to be able to move that defense.
So unless you pick Seattle to go 5-0, that's San Francisco.
Who does Seattle play though?
Carolina, San Francisco, Kansas City, the Jets, and the Rams.
Oh God, they'd have to get 2 sneaky back-to-back wins. They'd have to jump the Chiefs, which I feel like is very tough, and then they'd have to. The Geno Smith revenge tour will end in him beating the Jets. I feel like that is due. So now I'm hemorrhaging it on, do I think the Commanders can beat the 49ers? Or do I think the Seahawks can beat? Oh, that's tough. I'm 50-50 on this.
I mean, at this point, according to what we've said, every other NFC West team just needs the 49ers to blow a couple games to have a chance to win the division.
I don't know. I feel like their defense is just so good. I can't bet against it. I'm going to go 49ers. I think the Seahawks will be one of our wild card teams though. So
give me the Niners to win the division. The defense is best in the league.
Brock Purdy is going to prove that Mr. Irrelevant is Mr. Himothy, as my text read this week.
Do we know who has the tiebreaker? Okay, yeah, the 49ers are going to win the division.
Yeah, you dude, I honestly I can't keep giving away my hot take for this week. I can't. I just gotta shut my mouth for a little bit. There might be a Brock Purdy take in there. Sneaky little guy. What a sneaky little guy at Iowa State. NFC East, the best team in the NFL. I said it to start the season. We all have been sipping the Eagles Kool-Aid. The NFC East is tough, but I think we all agree that they're just going to win it out, right? I mean, there's just no way around it. Like I said, the South sucks officially. I'm quoting it, stamping it here for this year. We had Tampa Bay winning. We were all on board for Tampa Bay. Do we still feel that Tampa Bay is going to win?
The other teams just stink. It's just that simple. The Falcons are moving to Ritter this week. He's not going to – it depends on who they play, but –
no. But listen, hear me out. This schedule is actually really tough for them. They play the 49ers, they play the Bengals, they play the Cardinals, they play the Panthers, and they play the Falcons. I can see them taking L's to both the 49ers and the Bengals. So that drops them to 6-8. Is the Atlanta Falcons schedule easy enough to win?
If the Falcons don't have to play Lamar, they've definitely got a chance.
I just feel the Falcons go into New Orleans this week and take an L to the Saints with the Ritter first game. Then obviously depending on Lamar, I still think Huntley gets it done. I think they lose two. Cardinals, they're iffy. Depends on how Kyler plays and the defense. I could see the Falcons losing out. honestly. I don't think they will lose out, but I could see it.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule. I mean, do we want to go off the board and say Sam Darnold and Carolina somehow get everything done at the end of the season? I mean, because listen to this. Head to head, they've already taken an L to the Panthers. So the only thing that would really be holding them back, I mean, they beat the Saints. So they beat the Saints once. They beat the Bucks once. They've beat the Falcons once. I mean, I'm not saying it's crazy. They could sneak a game out in Seattle. Then they play Pittsburgh, the Lions. And I'm stuck here, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to pick the Tampa Bay because I hate them, but I just feel like it's too tough. Tom Brady's inevitable. So sad. So sad.
That last minute win is probably going to become. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm taking them, because they have potentially a 2-game lead in their division. So
yeah. And then our first wild card seed was the Vikings, so we're gonna have to trade that out. Do we want to move up number 3, who was the Cowboys?
Yes, Cowboys easily first wild card for the Cowboys.
They're really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Although I think we had some Cowboys hate in our original predictions. Oh, we got a goal.
Everybody always hates on the Cowboys. The Cowboys hate's inevitable.
Anyone else got the World Cup game on?
No, I don't. What's going on?
Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yes, please.
We've got an Argentina goal in the 35th minute.
Who scored?
I didn't see. I saw the commotion.
Let me look. It was probably like Angel Di Maria or somebody like weird.
I know.
Oh wait, no. There's I'm seeing no goal right now on ESPN.
Oh, I don't know why that would be. I think
I saw Rodrigo de Paul. Unless they're reviewing it.
I guess we'll find out, but sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the NFL.
It was a Rodrigo de Paul shot. Oh, wait, nope, never mind. Nahul Molina. Who in the world
Number
is
26.
that? What does he play? He's the right back. Nice. Good job. I'm just cheering for McAllister, if anybody knows what McAllister is. He's an English international that changed to an Argentinian international because his grandmother's Argentinian. So he's like the most he doesn't even fit in. There were rumors that he didn't speak any Argentinian or whatever or Spanish, and it was just so funny to watch him play. But he's playing good, so congrats to him. But back to the wild card picture. Our second wild card seed was the Cardinals. Do we want to go Seahawks here?
I'm gonna say Seattle.
Rishi's looking like he wants to take a swing on somebody.
I really don't know how to feel about the I believe the NFC East. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about those 2 teams at the bottom of the NFC East right now. I think out of all the teams in the hunt or whatever, I think the Lions are actually playing the best football outside of the Cowboys, but it'd be tough for them to jump either of these teams. I think the Giants or the Commanders finish ahead of Seattle, and Seattle would have to get the 7 seed, but I'll take the Commanders.
I was going to take Commanders at the 7 seed because I think the Giants fold at the end of the year. That was my Cowboys, Seahawks, Commanders. That's my wild card.
I would like to go through who the Commanders play. So they have a bye this week. They play the Giants, the 49ers, the Browns, and the Cowboys.
3-1.
3. You had a lot of confidence in Taylor Heineke. You have an exuding amount of confidence.
Taylor Heineke is better than half the quarterbacks in the league anyway. He's a team
It's
leader.
tough. No, because I'm looking at the
Even-
Giants' schedule, and it's tough. Like, this
even
is
if
tough sledding.
even if Washington goes 2-2, I still think they overtake the Giants because I still think the Giants fold. And I really don't see anybody that's below them. Detroit's the next team in the picture, and they're 2 games back. So it's going to take really good amount for Detroit, maybe even winning out to jump in.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take a lot. So that's why I give me the Commanders.
Yeah, the Giants do play Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, Colts, Eagles to close the season. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go Commanders. Commanders at 2 or Seahawks at 2?
I'll say Commanders at 3, but whatever you guys vote.
I'm willing to go Seahawks at 2. I just think it's gonna be tough for.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna have a couple tough games mixed in.
Oh wait, I mixed it around actually, but whatever.
All right. Well, we got back through the playoffs. We're feeling confident. Hopefully, these don't bust. Fingers crossed. Our early season predictions were literally from before week 1, I believe. So we had seen no football going into those picks. I just want everyone at home to know that we picked. How many divisions did we pick correctly? 1, 2. We picked 4. We picked 4 out of 8. We went 50%. I'm pretty proud of how we started the season. I feel like that's respectable. That is a respectable amount of divisions that you pick semi-correct. But on to college basketball. It has been a ridiculous college basketball season to start. We are 9 or 10 games in Dallas?
Yeah, we are pretty much everybody has played close to 10 games. If they haven't, then they really haven't played any tournaments. Some teams are closer to the 12 range just because they played in the Phil Knight, the Maui, and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and now Big Ten and all the conference play is starting in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to go through. Just give me your reactions to these games. Baylor beats Gonzaga. What? I have to ask the question. What is wrong with Gonzaga?
So I'll start. I probably watched the most college basketball here. I would think so. Gonzaga really hasn't found a true. I'd say this is their problem this year. They haven't found that true leader of a point guard spot. Obviously, you can tell for our hometown Pacers, Andrew Nebhard is playing amazing. That is a big loss from Gonzaga from last year. He really controlled the pace. He can feed the post well. He can play the pick and roll game. He can shoot the floater. Their point guard doesn't really have that driving game really this year. He's more of a spot up 3 guy and maybe a driver, just not the floater game, drive to the rim type guy. So I think that's what they're missing this year. I think they'll be all right because of Drew Timme. They only lost to Baylor by 1. Some of these losses have been close. Obviously, the Texas loss was not. I give more testament to Baylor winning this game than Gonzaga, actually. It shows a little bit about Baylor after getting blown out the game before. So that's my take from that game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say all my college basketball opinions are fully formed yet, but what I do know is that I'm very high on the WAC this year, and so I think, listen, Gonzaga's going to have a few more losses before they go into the tournament, but I know I'm not picking against them just yet.
All righty. And then we had Maryland jumping Illinois in the first game of Big Ten play. Interesting game there. Brendan Wheat, I know, was probably crying a little bit. There's definitely some tears in that game. But an even bigger Big Ten upset, Rutgers beating IU by 15. The Hoosiers were ranked 10 at that point. A big loss to an unranked team. I just have to say it. I like Rutgers. Losing Ron Harper Jr. I thought was going to be massive for them, but that team is just gritty. They're just gritty. We watched them play Ohio State last night. Lost on a last-second dagger 3. I mean, tough to lose to, but they're good. I think they're going to be a tough team to play, and I wouldn't say it's out of the cards for them to be a really good Big Ten team, a Big Ten tournament problem. I will say I think their rotation looks a little fragile. So if there's a loss or two of players in there towards the middle of the season, I'd be a little more nervous. But, I think they're a good team, and I think they're a team everyone needs to keep on their radar.
Yeah, we go back to the Big Ten. They perform well, man. The Big Ten performs well. They're going to get 7-8 teams in the tournament at least. This year, I mean, you could even argue more. It's that deep of a conference. Just depends on how this team stack up head-to-head against each other. I could see this Big Ten running tight. Even the teams at the bottom, like Nebraska, Northwestern, those teams can put up a fight. Northwestern already beat Michigan State. I don't know if that's on your list. These teams.
I had Northwestern beating Michigan State. Nebraska beat Creighton.
These teams, they put up a fight, man. So you could really see some really close Big Ten action, some really tight records, maybe 50-50. That's why I think they could see. It's too hard to get double-digit teams in the tournament, but I could see some record this year and having conference with the most teams in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is because all those Big Ten teams end up playing each other, like even if they all are, this good of a team, their records are going to even out. And so they probably won't get, maybe 11, 12 teams in. But I do think Big Ten's playing good basketball this year. Even a team like Rutgers, which isn't the IU or Purdue or Illinois of the Big Ten this year, is like still a defensive team Caleb McConnell's the guy I want in my NBA organization after this year. And like they got veterans and they're a well-rounded team.
Who's their power forward or center, Dallas? The one that's just so good.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let me take a look at that.
His last name's really obscure. That's why I'm forgetting it.
It's like it starts with an O.
It's a Koru or something.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. Goodness gracious. Give me some of him. I'd like to have him in my NBA franchise. He had like 4 fouls last night and he's still on the floor just trying to block everything, get rips. I mean, the way they play, I think will be tough for teams to match up against through the rest of the season. But then on to the 1 seed. Houston held on by 5 against St. Mary's. I know Dallas was a little heartbroken by that, but I think Dallas's take of the what's that conference, the WAC.
Yeah, Rishi said it, man. I forget what my exact take of that was.
I will literally go back shows here.
Go back. I had I believe it was 4 teams making the tournament.
It was Gonzaga, St. Mary's, San Francisco. I feel like they were in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that I think about it, Dallas definitely said that before I said that. So give him his props.
Oh yeah, the WCC: Pepperdine, St. Mary's, San Francisco, and Gonzaga.
Yes.
What's the WAC then? There's a WAC, right?
Yeah, I think the WAC is like. I think you heard about the WAC today because they're adding themselves into football for FBS this year. So
you know what I meant.
Yeah, we got you. Don't worry. And then we had another massive game. Virginia holds on by 5 against Florida State. That's a tough game. The ACC continues to look tough, I feel like. Nebraska beating Creighton by 10 was a massive upset, like we said. Maybe these Big Ten teams aren't worth being written off yet. North Carolina lost once again, this time at the hands of Virginia Tech. And it just looks like North Carolina might be a little more fragile than we thought after last year. I know Dallas talked about the Blue Bloods last week, how they're missing some players. There's some massive players they lost, Brady Manick being the one. They'll be interesting to watch this season. Illinois beat Texas in overtime, a great game, a team that we said is going to be tough to beat this year, Texas. I mean, Illinois was gritty in that game. Wisconsin knocked off Maryland, but now we're on to talk about a few points. We have to talk about the hometown team here, no matter how much it painstaking me to talk about them. Is Purdue going to be considered a powerhouse this year?
So I'll go. I do think they finished close to the top of the Big Ten. I don't necessarily see them winning it per se. I really can't predict who wins the Big Ten right now. It's super close. Obviously, if you had to pick National Player of the Year right now, it's Zach Edey. He's playing very well. They here's the thing about some big guys. I know we don't necessarily like Zach Edey. He's not the most skilled guy, but here's the thing about Purdue. They use him well. They use him in his spots. That's what Matt Painter's good at. He gets him in his spots so he does well. That's what some of the other coaches do not do with their bigs. And they have the guards that look for him. The freshman guards are playing unbelievable this year. Who would have thought Braden Smith, Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana, would come in as a freshman, start at point guard, and play this well early on in the season? As of Foster Lawyer, who went to Homestead as well, those guys are playing above expectations as freshmen, which is very good for Purdue. That is why they're in the spot, I think, right now. Those guys playing so well. And they're playing well on the defensive side. You would say those two guys would be a defensive liability. Well, so far, not really. Braden Smith is getting a lot of steals. Lawyer's holding his own. So that's why Purdue is good right now. I think that defensive liability will show up in the Big Ten because Big Ten will be physical. It's going to take them a few games to get into that rhythm there. But Purdue's tough, man. They're going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I see in the Big Ten at least 3 teams, Illinois, Iowa, and Illinois, Indiana, and Purdue as potential top 3 seeds when we go to the tournament. And so, although I got to watch more Maryland, didn't realize they were 8-0.
They are not 8-0 anymore.
Oh,
yeah, took an L to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin got them. My opinion on the Purdue powerhouse, I think it might be a little too early to say teams are powerhouses. I know I always put these very leading and entrapping questions in here just to, stir the pot a little bit to see what the conversation is. I think Purdue's going to be a good team. I hate saying it, but like I said about Rutgers, I think their rotation is a little fragile. So I'd be a little bit worried about spurts where players are injured or, spurts where people aren't playing as well as we thought they should be. It's easy for teams to get out to a really hot start. You've had the preseason, you do all these things right. And it's not that hard for teams to lose or for teams to become undisciplined. So I'd be interested to see where they are in February, end of January, beginning of February. That's why I'd really say, this team's going to be a scary team to see come March. But I'm interested in that. Another team to talk about is UConn at number 5. We all remember the UConn dynasty. Unfortunately, I have to remember it way too well for Kentucky losing them for a few years. They're back and they look strong. Where are we feeling about UConn?
You want to go first, Rishi?
Well, so I have to watch more of UConn, but from what I know, Sanogo's a dog, and so if you've got a player of his caliber, it's tough to beat a team like that.
Yeah. So I believe it was a couple nights ago. They went into Florida, beat Florida by 21. Their last few games here. Let me take a look at their last few games. They are 10-0 now. They beat Oklahoma State the game before, and their run they've been on. The games haven't been close. They've beaten good teams. They beat a good Oregon team. They beat Alabama handily. Beat Iowa State by 18. Iowa State's a solid team as well. This team is good. Like Rishi said, Sanogo is great big. They actually have another big off the bench, I believe, who's playing very well. He's a 7'2" freshman, Donovan Cliggan. He's playing very well off the bench, so their bigs are very good. Their guard play is solid on the defensive end. They can shoot well. I'd say the UConn dynasty never left because they've always been there. But I think this year they have a really chance to go back and compete for a national championship. And the past few years, they've just been there, not really the best, but this year they could be the best. And you can argue that they have a better resume and could be number 1 team in the country right now.
Their resume early season's good looking at it, but I hate saying it. I don't think the Big East is as good as people hype it up to be. There's good teams in there, but I feel like some of these teams have kind of slid under the radar, maybe. Maybe still just not there. There's going to be the tough games, the Villanovas, the Xaviers, the Providence, Creighton, Marquette. Like to see how they do. Right now, none of those teams are ranked in the top 25 other than Creighton. So I'd be interested to see what happens with those teams, how those teams come along, but they're going to be a tough team to beat, I feel like. And it's going to be a battle. I think they're probably going to end up being 2. I think it's just going to be tough to, knock Houston off that number 1 spot. I need to look at what Houston has on their schedule for this year. I don't know if they play any more massive games throughout the season. Their conference is a little bit, it's almost kind of the same. They play Virginia in 2 weeks. They play Alabama this week. So,
Alabama and Virginia are their last true test, unless some of these other teams down there in their conference can become ranked, which I could see.
Temple's always a tough team to play.
I could see some of these teams becoming 20 to 25 ranked for a week, but really, I think the toughest games they have left is obviously Alabama, Virginia, and then probably Wichita State early in March. These other games, Temple can give them a run, but
Memphis maybe.
Memphis could be an interesting team. I don't know how they stack up. I haven't watched much Memphis basketball this year. I probably should just a little bit to see how they stack up. They're usually very athletic, cause problems on the defensive end. So that could be another team that gives them problems.
Yep. And then back onto that Blue Bloods conversation. I'm just going to give you an update on where the Blue Bloods are currently. Duke and Kentucky are at 15 and 16, and North Carolina has actually dropped out of the rankings as of this week. So interesting to see what happens there. I know that Duke's played more games than Kentucky, but I felt like the Kentucky win against Michigan was a good sign. I was glad to see what they did. I'll be interested to see what happens in the SEC. It is it's closing in very fast. We play UCLA right before, and then we start Missouri. We had some tough stretches, play Alabama and Tennessee within 7 days, Kansas in January. There's a lot of good teams to play this year, so I'm excited to see what they do. And, fingers crossed we can get back to the tournament. So on the Duke side, I don't know what you have for Duke Dallas. I don't really watch much college basketball in all reality.
On the Duke end, let's see. The last game they played well. Let's see their schedule here. They played well against a tough Iowa team in the Jimmy V Classic. Iowa's up and down. They played very well against Iowa State last night, but Duke's going to go as far as Jeremy Roach takes them. And then will the freshmen play? I mean, this was my worry last week. You have number 1 and number 2 recruits in the nation. You have the number 1 recruit playing 13 minutes. He was 1 out of 1. That's not numbers out of the number 1 recruit. You have the number 2 recruit playing 21 minutes off the bench. He had 8 points and 6 boards. He's starting to get into it better. But I think those guys have to play 30 minutes a night and be productive if Duke's going to have argument to compete.
For sure. What do you have, Rishi, so far on the Blue Bloods?
I mean, just college basketball is different than it was 5 years ago. You got players getting an extra COVID year. You got NIL money keeping guys in college longer than maybe it would have before. And so I think that it's a unique couple years in college basketball because it's the oldest college basketball will be maybe ever. And so I think that means more parity, a few more veteran teams that have had more time together. And so I actually thought that would help a team like North Carolina, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, we got a lot to watch out for. I think that college basketball is going to be really good, really interesting, and probably right when we get back from break, we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Let me say one thing real quick. When we come back from break, there's some games next Saturday that are going to be very telling. This is probably one of the biggest Saturdays of the whole season. You have IU at Kansas, Alabama at Gonzaga, Houston at Virginia, North Carolina trying to get their first resume win at Ohio State. UCLA and Kentucky play at the CBS Sports Classic, and Tennessee playing at Arizona. So next Saturday is going to be a lot of ranked games playing each other, and really big tell on who's really good and who's on the verge of being good.
Sure, for sure. So now we are on to college football. Interestingly, we have finally got our college football top 10 or our college football top 4. I'm going to go through them: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. We're going to recap who we picked, actually. I had Ohio State, Alabama, Utah, Michigan, and Georgia. Unfortunately, I should have just kept Michigan and Georgia in there and just got rid of Utah. Austin had Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Oklahoma. Dallas had Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Utah. So we each got probably the Michigan and Ohio State picks. Other than you, Dallas, you just had Ohio State. But we got a lot going on. The matchups are Georgia versus Ohio State and Michigan versus TCU. So, gentlemen, tell me who you got for that national championship.
I'm taking Georgia and Michigan, but man, is it tough to pick against TCU. And then in that game, I guess if I'm putting Michigan in the finals, I'll take Michigan. But if it's Georgia TCU, I'm taking Georgia.
All right, Dallas, who you got here?
I was tempted to pick Ohio State off of a revenge game for the Michigan, but I'm not going to. Georgia's defense is too good, and Ohio State's defense is not. So Georgia will score, hold Ohio State. Georgia will win that game. Michigan's too much of a problem for TCU. I think the run game's really going to come into play. So Michigan's going to win that, and I have Georgia winning it all. I think they're easily the best team. I think they go back-to-back.
All righty. Well, I'm going to go off the board here. I know it's tough for me to go against Georgia after watching so much of Georgia, but I think LSU may have exposed a few of their weaknesses. And, occasionally they get caught sleeping. I think it's going to be a close game. I just feel like Ohio State somehow nabs that game. And then I'm going to go underdog in the Michigan game. I think Purdue also showed a game plan to beat Michigan. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be tough. And I think, Max Duggan's truthfully going to have to push them to the limits of their team. But I actually have TCU winning a national championship against all odds. I think seeing what college football, the NFL, college basketball, the World Cup have been, I think that it's just going to be a madness. And I think TCU is a well-oiled machine. I think that Kansas State game was tough last week, and it was tough for them to lose that. But they're good, and I feel like they're ready to be there. But we do not have anything else. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about before we get on to hot takes?
Put some respect on Stetson Bennett's name. He's the second best quarterback in the college football playoff behind Max Duggan.
I'm just saying it, Max Duggan for Heisman, please. It's
a media award, so I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah. I think, that they're in the college football playoff, and another quarterback who will remain anonymous is not. He lost last week, so, suck it. Sorry, I had to get a USC take in there. But now we're going to recap last week's hot takes. I took the college football championships series underdog take. I had Purdue winning, Utah beating USC, and Georgia. I actually had Georgia beating LSU. So, I had two of the games right. You Purdue Boilermakers, keep letting me down. Just keep doing it. Dallas had Cincy winning the division and St. Mary's beating Houston. St. Mary's did lose by 5. Matthew had Boise State winning the Mountain West and Yorba Linda High School beating the Patriots and then going to the California State Championships. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Yorba Linda just came up short. He is now to 3-2. Dallas is at 2.5 to 9. I am at 2-10. Adam had Cowboys Colts 15-12. Colts are going for the number 2 pick in the draft, and Japan unfortunately did not make the semis. I'm sorry, Adam, for laughing at that. The Colts got cooked. Meyer started off with the hot take that beat all hot takes. You had Kent State beating Gonzaga, Tulane beats UCF, Commanders beat the Giants, Jets beat the Vikings, Denver beats UCLA. He had Maryland beat, and then a couple winners. He unfortunately did go 0-1, but we are on to this week's hot takes. Matthew is not here, unfortunately, today, but he has Arizona beating Creighton on Monday. Rishi, you had the Netherlands beating in a multi-goal lead at halftime.
Bro, my hot takes are so bad. They're so bad.
Poor Rishi can't catch a break. But we're gonna give you some chance. I'm gonna let you double. I'm gonna let you double down here. If you got some hot takes to add in and you get them right, I'm gonna give you a win. A grace
All
win.
right. Double XP weekend on the hot take record. Big UFC card on. I'm taking the co-main event and the main event to both go to decision. Got a little mini parlay there. I believe the odds are long enough to where that's a hot take. And then I'll give out a lock of the week as well. Raul Rosas Jr., youngest fighter in UFC history, making his debut. He's going to get the win this weekend as well. But that's not really a hot take. That's more of just a pick.
All right. Well, I feel like those are some pretty good picks, for me to make up for this this take of Netherlands multi-goal lead. It's okay. It's okay.
You should absolutely fade me.
Just do the opposite of what Rishi tells us from now on. I have Croatia winning the rest of the World Cup. So big up Croatia, guys. I'm going to be watching every game. I got a lot to talk about. I'm going to go with it. I think Max Duggan wins the Heisman. I know he's second in odds. I think he does have a tough run against Caleb Williams's stats and numbers. But Max Duggan, the man, he's going to take a Heisman home. And I gotta take a game. I gotta take a college basketball game. I told Dallas I was fading college basketball. Haven't felt it yet. Just not ready to make a pick yet. I hate college basketball. It's so tough to pick games. You know what? Let's just go to that crazy Saturday Dallas talked about. Well, let's throw some W's in here. I'm gonna have Gonzaga beating Alabama, so the Zags beat Bama, and then I'm gonna have IU. I'm rolling with the Hoosiers for the first time ever. Actually, I think I rolled with them last year. I have them beating Kansas by 15. And Dallas, you're here. Let's close it on out.
All right. Well, I'm going to stick with college basketball. I was very tempted to hop on the Meyer train and have Denver beating UCLA this Saturday, but I'll stay away from that. Let Meyer have it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Big Ten battle, and I'm going to say Nebraska is going to hand Purdue its first loss on Saturday. And then I have a futures bet here, and that is that Cornell wins the Ivy League. Cornell just put up a 105 piece on Miami. I know they did lose that game, 107-105.
How do you lose scoring 105?
Isaiah Wong
put up a career high.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Isaiah Wong.
Since
I forgot that
I've been following him. Since high school.
Dude, you rode him into the grave last year before the tournament. You were like on the Isaiah Wong train, and then they got absolutely crushed in the first game.
We don't have to talk about that.
It's okay. But all right, you got anything else, Dallas?
No, I think that's all. Cornell will win it, man. I'm telling you, their offense is going to be too good in the Ivy League. The Ivy League's interesting. Yale could provide a fight. Yale plays Kentucky this week. Princeton and Harvard are always solid, but after what I saw out of Cornell, against Miami, give me Cornell.
All righty. Well, it's been great having you on. It's been a great, technically semester of episode, gentlemen. We will be back in January. We're going to figure out, maybe there's going to be some new segments in January. We're going to have a lot to talk about, but have a wonderful rest of your holidays, and we'll keep up with sports for you guys. We may bring in an episode if crazy things happen, college football playoff, we might hit the bowl weekend. You never know. We'll be back, but great to have you guys on, and have a great rest of your day.